Welcome to today's Light Lunch episode. My name is Hayden Blucher and I am the engagement lead here at the Building Institute Aotearoa. And it's a pleasure to be joined today by Gordy McGregor from Black Interiors and Construction and Josh Gibbons from Cook Brothers Constructions. Welcome to you both. I will get you just to quickly introduce yourself. So do we want to start with you, Gordy, first?
Yep, I'm Gordy McGregor. As you rightly say, I work for Black Interiors and Construction, regional manager down here in we'll call it Central Otago, Southern Lakes, down south basically. And for my sins, I've been sort of committee member for the Southern region for a number of years now, and obviously have now found a few more friends in the region. Nice segue to Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Gordy. Josh Gibbons, regional manager for Cook Brothers Construction here in Queenstown. Same, call it Southern Lakes down here as well. I've been running the region now coming off 7 years, and with Cook Brothers over 10 years in Queenstown myself. I love the place. And then joined the Institute after good friends with Craig Hopkins in Auckland, who's part of the board, and a couple of chats with him, and just thought a good chance to give back to the industry, and from, I suppose, like Gordy said, my sins that have still in this industry after 23 years. So yeah, it's good to be able to share experiences and just help promote what the Institute can do for those people who are in our very diverse industry.
Cool, thank you for that, and great to have you both on today. So the format for this session is this: we'll run through a few questions. Keen to hear your stories, and we'll start off. So first question is, what enticed you to be a member of the Building Institute, and more recently, why did you join the regional committees?
I'll start with that one, I guess. So I jumped off the boat into New Zealand just after the Canterbury earthquakes, and kind of into a very weird environment up there in Christchurch at that time. And you get chatting away to the locals, movers and shakers, and the people that are doing stuff. And I was kind of looking around going, I'm feeling a little bit sort of fresh off the boat here, and like not knowing what's in the land, what's going on, how do things work over here a little. So a few people directed me towards the Institute. And at that point, I was like, okay, Institute, this sounds all very intimidating and all the rest of it. And the perception was at that point, it was about academia. So I looked at it and went, okay, I'm going to make an application. I made an application, as you do. And lo and behold, they accepted me, bizarrely. I get seconded and I proposed and supported by someone, and I get accepted. But what it did teach me, and more importantly, I think it's what I'm trying to say to everyone, is that the academia is part of it, but it was more about your life skills and your ability to get on with people and your past experiences, as broad or as narrow as they are. And that was really, really useful. So for me, that was kind of what the Institute was definitely about, the people, as opposed to your where you sat in the industry. It was more about what you could offer, and genuinely what you could then get from the Institute as well. So all of that to one side. The reason I'm involved in it down here in the south, as you find from this podcast, I talked a lot to the previous CEO of the Institute about the lack of events, lack of things in our region. And in a classic leadership style, she turned that question back onto me and went, well, what are you going to do about it? So ultimately, I volunteered, stepped up, joined the Southern Region Committee, and softly, we've been going since.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. And Josh?
Yeah, I'm a carpenter by trade, so qualified way back in 2007, and have since then progressed my way through the industry by, as Gordy has put it, by the work experience rather than the academia side of things. So for me, it was a very, I thought, natural sort of role progression, just going through, this is what you do, you learn how to do your job as a carpenter, you get into the site management space. From there, site management would potentially lead into a project management role. I never thought that role would then lead into regional manager. Maybe I wasn't very good at project management, so they pushed me up the chain. I'm not sure, but I think that the real concern for me way back in my earlier days was, hey, I need a qualification that's more than just a level 4, and I didn't think I could get there without doing that pathway. But when you're on the tools 50 hours a week, or running sites, those demands are a lot. So then to go over and above and get qualifications does take either time out of your work life. So there's a remuneration impact there, or you've got to sacrifice other things, like your rest and recovery and doing things you like doing outside of work to get this qualification. Then lo and behold, find out you don't particularly need that to get a role or level up in the industry, as I would probably put it. But for all means of like the qualification, I think there's some great things you can learn by doing those qualifications, and I'm not anti those. Or I just think that it doesn't mean by not having those, man, doesn't mean you can be successful at what you do. And I think the big part about the institute that I really wanted to get a better understanding of and support where I can is that it's all about sharing knowledge, right? That's where true learning comes from in my mind. The books can take you so far, but you learn from watching really experienced guys and girls do their thing, and you see, ask and touch and follow them and what they're doing, or you go and do those things with some people and learn the hard way, and those experiences shape you. And I think for the industry and the institute itself, looking at it, the site manager is sort of the role that I feel like gets left behind a little bit. We definitely focus on the academia side of things, the executive managers who are the ones leading our projects, but without the site managers on site, nothing really gets built. The other ones crack of dawn, opening the site up, making sure everyone's safe. They're leading the project in terms of program and quality and just people relationship piece. And I think I wanted to make sure that the institute was then having a gateway for them to have a platform inside this organisation where they'd feel valued and a member, I suppose, and give them a chance just to catch up with other people and ask those questions of someone who's been in the trade longer. Hey, do I actually even want to be a project manager, or does love building stuff? And is that where I want to be? And I think those are hard questions to ask when you're in a silo. So an open forum, when having a few beers and doing a site visit, you can do those things and check out what it might be like on other roles. So that's pretty, my sort of long, short story.
Yeah, nice. You made really good answers there, actually, and you're right about the site manager role. Kind of typically, we've been represented heavily by site managers, construction managers, project managers, and certainly, it's a space where we want site managers to feel included and come along as members and check out the various events. So, good point. Next question is around.
Sorry, Hayden, to interrupt.
That's right.
There's also, building on both of your points there, there's so much resource available online for everyone at the moment from the institute. So I'm with Josh that a lot of our boys and girls will probably spend 10 minutes of quiet time in their own time looking at these things and kind of going, oh, it's a little bit mythical. It's not. It's there for everyone, and more importantly, it can only become more well-rounded if we get more input from the genuine leaders out there on the coal front every day.
Absolutely agree. Perfect. Next question is around your work. So what's something you're currently excited about in your work? Do you want to start again with you, Gordy?
Okay, yeah, certainly, for sure. For me, it's an opportunity to, selfishly, to start a branch of a well-existing or of a well-established company from the North Island down here in our local region, much to Josh's annoyance. That's been daunting, but it's also been a retooling of expectation around how to approach situations, clients, and or people you've known for a number of years. So that's been good. That's been a real sort of made me think and reminded me that actually it's really, really easy to forget you're a human. And actually, if you don't make, it's all about this. What I've learned in the last few months is about connection rather than correction. It's basically getting that connection with someone, then you can work with them and you can work your way forward around that. As an industry, I guess Josh has been in it long enough as like I have. I can't believe how, with the amount of intellect and technology we have at our fingertips, that we're more unproductive than ever. And that is a really scary thing for me. It's like common sense has been replaced by an app. And people don't seem to want to understand that you've got to ask questions, you've got to be inquisitive, you've got to be more into it. And there seems to be checkers of checkers, and we're being incredibly unproductive on multiple levels. So what gets me excited as a business, we're kind of looking at it and loosely around how AI can help us, not replace us, but how it can help us, and more importantly, how we can remove some of that wasted human effort. There's no point I saw someone online in the last few days there where the question was around someone's done an electronic takeoff from their 3D model. Then the question was, if the model's rubbish, then your takeoff's rubbish. And you kind of go, well, actually, isn't that part of the problem? If your design's rubbish, your model's rubbish, your takeoff's rubbish, your product will be rubbish. So it's more about trying to get those human factors, the waste factors removed. You don't need checkers of checkers. You need to get people to just do their job, basically. So yeah, it's all of that to one side. I've been in this industry a long, long time, and I can still remember when we got by without PCs, cell phones, or Procore. Shit still got done. And it got done well. Full stop.
Nice. And Josh?
Yeah, obviously trying to push Gordy back out again, so it didn't take too much of my work in the fit-out space. But no, in terms of stuff that I'm really focusing on at the moment, I think for us, we've just come off a year of really big project closeouts. So, we've done some great stuff in the region, stuff that's first for us. And I think now it's about consolidation and really building that next lot of work up, which is always fun, going out and getting those next opportunities and looking at those. I'm very excited by the front end. It definitely spins my wheels and how I like to think. So think about, I see front end as you're solving a problem. So it's a problem solving role. A client needs something. The designers need something. They need your advice and obviously your price to make it all work. So whether it's a hard tender bid and you've got to win the strategy to kind of how to get the job versus an ECI or a DMB where you're actually adding value by the skills and experience you have. So that's probably sort of stuff we're sort of working on at the moment. But like Gordy was saying, a lot of our role is around people management and how do you create a culture or an environment where people actually want to turn up to work. And I think for us, we really want to create a space where people are self-driven. They kind of lead themselves, and that is a massive undertaking. It doesn't happen overnight, and we're still learning through that, and mostly trial by error, mostly failures by a leader, because you think you're going to do something, you think you're doing a great job, and then lo and behold, the communication you've used hasn't quite hit the mark, and people don't feel as engaged as you believe they are. And I think that's the part that gets you out of bed in the morning and go, right, how do I turn up today and be a better leader than I was yesterday? How do I try and encourage a team when maybe you don't feel that encourage yourself? So those things are quite actually, I suppose I'm very passionate about it because in the heart of the industry is people. We have tools, we have AI like Gordy says, we've got IT coming through to help us. We've got materials and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's people that build buildings and design them and create them and obviously fund them. So, getting on with people is so important. So that for me is sort of, it's a fun part of the job and a fun part of seeing people develop and grow.
And that segues quite nicely actually into the next question as well, in terms of people, thinking about yourself. What do you do to balance your own mental health and well-being, in a busy industry, busy roles that you both have? How do you look after yourselves?
Yeah.
That's what. Going to go first, Gordy, or me? I think for me, there's the cliche ones are there, like mindfulness and getting a gym workout, get out in the sun, get some vitamin D. All those things I suppose are really, really important. Reading books and self-taught and learning, all that stuff's really important for mental health and development. But I've got two things that I specifically do. I have a check-in with my psychologist like once every 6 to 8 weeks, and I elected to do that 3 or 4 years ago. Pressure was getting to me in my role. It was a pretty tough role, you don't know what you don't know when you're young, and you kind of go in with guns blazing, and you realise I'm dealing with a lot of pressure here. How am I going to manage this? And so Cook Brothers was actually really great at the time, and Dave Bulling, the managing director, said, hey, I wanted to go see this person. And so, I've kept that going for like 4 years now. And those check-ins are really, really important for my mental health, ability to talk around, what are you actually feeling and how's that working, which, but eerie theory for some people. But the reality is that men in construction particularly don't talk. And so for me, it was a great way to outlet. And one other thing I've put in place in the last 6 months is a real good mate of mine. She'll name nameless, but him and I catch up once a week religiously on a Friday morning for a coffee at 7 o'clock. And we just don't miss that. And it started off as like a kind of accountability session. He was into a new role and it's kind of giving him some help on what it looked like. And so we'd hold each other accountable. I'm going to do this week, and what are you going to do this week? And then after about 3 months, we realised we were talking about the same stuff over and over. And so we decided, let's just cut through all the work stuff. Let's just have a catch up at, hey, how you going? And I think for me, that's the things that are the real golden nuggets, I suppose, with all the health and wellness of running and doing some gym workouts, all that stuff, and family time, and that's all great stuff. But that's just sort of, I think, they don't go so far. I think there's ability to talk, and especially as men in construction who, we're terrible at it. And I think that has been a game changer for me, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for your openness with that question. That was really well answered. And Gordy?
And there's not much really to follow up in that. I think Josh is onto it in terms of the it's been in my 12, 13 years in New Zealand, the fact to watch our industry open up and more importantly talk has been amazing. And it's not a sign of weakness. It's definitely a sign of being the courageous man. But I like what Josh was saying around routine. Selfishly, I love my sports. I'm too old and too fat to play any of them now. I just go along and complain about them and get involved in them, which then leads me to travel with it and to go and watch it, different codes in different parts of the world, which has been really nice. I'm blessed with a wife that enjoys sport as well. I enjoy my music as I'm listening to it and used to play it, but more so listening to it. Food and drink, of course, clearly the size and shape I am. And despite staying in the Highlands of Otago, I'm not a biker, I'm not a skier, and I'm not a boatie.
Yeah, nice. Perfect. And still on the people theme, then can I get you to tell us about a person or people within your career that have been influential for you? And what is it specifically about them that's been, of such influence?
I can go first. As a pretty quick story. As a young tradesman, I made, as Josh defined it, the step from tradesman to leading hand to foreman to site manager, the normal pathway we all go on. My first role as a site manager, I was short of a particular material. I was working alongside a colleague of mine who's also site manager on another site, and I wanted to borrow some material. He went, no. And I was like, you mean no? You got a shed full of it. And he's like, no, you want it, you should have planned for it. So ultimately, he taught me the hard way how to plan. And planning is not about Gantt charts and all the rest of it. It's about moving resources, which includes people and or materials and or everything else we do around. And it taught me that you've got to be able to plan and pivot on those plans. But more importantly, by doing that, he reminded me to be curious, start asking questions of what if, what should I do here, and to challenge the status quo. So ultimately, I've taken my hat off to him every time I see him, the old bugger. He taught me a very hard lesson.
Yeah, no, for me, I've definitely had a lot of people in my career that have definitely shaped where I am today. But I think probably the one that's probably done the most is my boss when I became an apprentice. So became an apprentice at 17, whipped away from home and straight up to Queenstown. We'd travel up early Monday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. We'd get in the truck and head up to site, and then leave about 3:30 on a Friday and drive home. So we're living with this guy, and his name was Ross Andrew, and he was a real passionate man about building. It was tough builder. Definitely could fly off the handle at times, but by all means, he gave me a lot of trust early on. So I started getting me to run some jobs when I was young in my career. No way should I have been running them. There's just no way. It was like the skill set wasn't there even to build, let alone run jobs. But he just had a way about extracting the best out of you and pushing you to be better every day. And that was partly by his management style. He was a owner-operator builder. He designed his own plans at the same time. So he used to draw the plans at night and then give you these hand-drawn drawings the next day of details. And just very knowledgeable about the industry. And I think the one thing that really sticks in my mind about him, he had a saying about time and motion. So, which is always about if you're moving somewhere, move with purpose, move, and if you're going to go to the coalface, take something with you if you need to take it, or take it back to the shed if you don't need it anymore. And it was always about thinking about building, not just as a builder, but as an a business owner, and how do you make money out of this industry that's very tough. And that sort of stuck through with me all the way through. And unfortunately, he passed away probably over 10 years ago now. And the one thing that I wish I could do and change would be that he go and have one more chat with him and just show him like all those lessons he set me up for, and that good work ethic he gave me, and that confidence he gave in me to run projects at quite a young age. So it's all paid off in the long run. And a lot of the things that he taught me have now given me success later in life. And I think that's one that, the conversations, if you can kind of have one of those conversations at dinner with the people that aren't around, he'd be definitely one of those at the table that I want to have a chat with. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Cool. Great examples again. Well, that's it, in terms of questions. Is there any, last plug you want to give to any prospective members down in Queenstown, or, anything that you want to highlight coming up before we close?
Not from my side, other than we, myself, Josh, and the other guys on our little subcommittee down here will be pushing hard into that site management space to encourage site managers and foremen to at least consider the institute and demystify it for them, because we want them and we need them, because we think they're going to add a lot of value to what we do as an institute going forward.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Yeah, totally. And I just can just only agree with Gordy there. I think the more people we have, the better the diverse sort of reason of thought is there, and then we get people adding different values to our conversations, right? And I think site managers got so much value to add. They see and hear and touch everything. They're generally not just a site manager. They're a counsellor. They're a builder. They're a life coach. They're everything. So for them, I think it's something where they could meet up and obviously have a beer together and just talk about the industry, the challenges they're facing, and ways around it, or the successes they're seeing as well. So, and give them make them feel like welcome, I suppose, is the big thing, really.
Awesome. Well, that's all from us today. So, thank you very much to both of you for being a part. Thank you for your support of the Institute and, the time that you give up to, make it happen down there. Look forward to seeing you around at an event at another point. And, this will be up on the website for everyone to view within the next week or so. So, thank you.
Awesome.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, Hayden.
Good night. Bye-bye.